Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's cracking? What's good? What it do? All the standard greetings that I use. How y'all doing this morning? It's Friday. Yes, it's Friday. And I'm glad about it. It's Friday. It's May 1st. And I believe it's May Day for all you good socialist thinking people. That's the day to celebrate the workers. In case you didn't know what May Day was. And it's 3:20 in the a.m. It's also my late great father's birthday. So here's to all the Tauruses out there. It's Taurus season. My former partner, 14 years, God rest her soul, was a Taurus. So I'm coming up on a lot of days of remembrance. I have two nephews whose birthdays are 3 days apart coming up. So I guess the family is celebrating this weekend. I'm house sitting as my sister's off to parts unknown to watch tennis. I believe she'll be in Italy. She just said she was traveling to watch tennis. So I'm house sitting. Pardon the noise in the background. I'm going to talk about some noise in a minute. That is my tea brewing because every time I attempted to speak this morning, I started coughing. So I'm fixing myself my usual morning cup of tea. Yesterday, I had quite the day. And as I remember my father, as I go back to that, the remembrance of my father, I thank God. Now, as many of you know, I've shared, my father was not a good man. I'm gonna let that make its noise. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, there we go. My father was not a good man. He tried, but he just couldn't get there. And I know it was part of a generational, multi-generational curse. So, he comes from a long line of not good men. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I thank God that he taught me one thing. Well, he taught me a few things, some good, some bad. But the one thing that stands out that I hold firm and fast to is issues about cars. He said, you shouldn't drive it if you can't do basic maintenance on it. Now, most days now, the car is a computer. And I know a lot about computers. I built them from the case and obtained all the parts and put one together. So I know a lot about computers. But the way cars interact with computers now, there's just some things I choose not to mess with. But I do know the basic mechanical workings of a car. All that being said is, I bought new tires a couple weeks back. And when I first bought the tires, I didn't get an alignment, which I knew was going to throw the car off just a little bit. But I started hearing a grinding noise. So I took it back. Come to find out, they left the old weights. Some of you don't, I'm speaking a foreign language, but they left the old weights on the car. So they were hitting the rotors and the calipers and all that good stuff and making a grinding noise. So I thought I needed new brakes. Then I noticed a shimmy in the rear end. I mean, it felt like the car was doing a salsa dance. And at one point, somebody was laying on their horn telling me I was like, what are you honking at? I can't move. There's a car in front of me. So I leaned out the window, and I had my radio up real loud so I couldn't hear him. So I leaned out the window way far to hear him say, "Hey, the back of your car is going like this." Okay, I felt it, and I thought that the axle had been bent enough to pass inspection, mind you, when my car was rear-ended 3 weeks after I got it. I come out, I find my car not in this parking spot, but knocked up on the sidewalk, so it looked like I parked on the sidewalk. To add insult to injury, I got a parking ticket for parking on the sidewalk. And the rear end of my car was all smashed up. Okay, so I thought it was a bent axle. But like I said, it passed inspection, so I drove it, and it was riding smooth until I got these new tires. So I'm thinking, okay, now it's either a U-joint, wheel bearings, and again, I know I'm speaking foreign language to some of you folks, or bad brakes. So yesterday, I knew I was house sitting, so I would have to travel back and forth a good distance, and I'd be in a different city, so if my car broke down, I didn't want it to break down on the dreaded Bay Bridge. So yesterday I left work at 11:30 to travel right down the street. I'm gonna say not even a half a mile to get my car looked at. It wasn't the brakes, it wasn't the U-joint, it wasn't the bearings. What had happened was one of the rims is bent. So the tires couldn't be balanced. So the rim being bent is what made the car shimmy. I got an alignment that made the ride a little smoother. I feel a slight wobble. So they rotated the tires to kind of even it out. And I have to purchase a rim in order to smooth the ride out again. Now the rim was bent, I believe, when the car was knocked on the sidewalk. And I didn't feel the shimmy like I did until I got these new tires. So there you have it. I knew enough that something was off. But the quote for the brake job, which I didn't need, praise God, $1,300 for front and rear brakes. Now, I am by no means rich, but it's the one time in life that I can say I wasn't panicked about car costs. So all in all, I escaped from the shop spending $200 for the alignment and the balancing of the rear tires. No, this is the alignment and a rotation. So, not that bad. And I'm going to be pricing used rims. I'm not buying. My car is an older car. I drive an older sports utility vehicle. I'm not putting good money in rims just to add to the aesthetics. I have what I call my bargain dent. I bought the car as is, and there was a dent in the front quarter panel front fender. And I managed to haggle $3,000 off the price of the car, so, it's all good. Study to show yourselves approved. That's what I'm saying. Basically, know a little something about everything.